Hi guys, this is Adam here with Adam L Photography, and today we're going to talk a little bit about two of Nikon's more recent release cameras, the D810 and the D750. We're going to talk about the pros and cons about these cameras, where they differ, and which camera I'm actually choosing to add to my camera bag. Let's just start with a basic outline of where the D750 really fits into Nikon's range. Up until now, we've had the D610 and the D810, which have been extremely far apart in their capabilities. The D810 being, of course, the coming after the D800, a massive sensor size at a 36.3 megapixel sensor, quite a slow, robust camera that churns out great studio images, but is not so good for handheld or sport. The D610 has been more the entry level or the step up from DX to get into that full frame sensor world for a lot of people, but still not having all the pro features. And they needed to put something in the middle there to fill that gap. And that's where the D750s come in. Little bits about specs differences. Okay, so the D750, we've got the 24 megapixel sensor. The D810 was sitting there with this 36.3 megapixel sensor. So we've got a massive amount of pixel difference there, a lot of definition difference there. The D750's shutter speeds are from 1/4000 to 30 seconds, whereas the D800's got the more industry standard of 8,000th of a second to 30 seconds. So you get that faster shutter speed there, which is useful at times. The flash sync speeds, for example, 2/50th of a second on the D810, 200th of a second on the D750. So it's kind of a watered down version of the D810 in many aspects. In the hand, they both feel very similar. The D750 has got a newer autofocus system. They call it the Multicam 3500 FX2, as compared to the D810 having the Multicam 3500 FX1, I guess. They've still got the 51 autofocus and 15 cross-type focus system in them, so they're both going to be great at focusing, but the word on the street, word from Nikon anyway, is that the 750 focuses even better. So that does have a better autofocusing system. It's better for tracking. As far as video goes, they both have the same sort of video functions in there, both shooting 1080p at 60 frames a second max speed. So both have stepped up from the predecessors of Nikon. So they're continually stepping up with their video skills there, which is a fantastic thing for me to hear. Getting that 60 frames a second out of a DSLR is what I've been waiting for. I'm really looking forward to when they can up that to 2.7K or 2.5K or at least 4K, which would be fantastic to get out of the DSLRs. That's the basic statistical stand-up between the two cameras. Which one am I going to go with? I'm going to go with the D810. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to add that to my camera bag, but that will probably be the camera that I add next, simply because I love the D800. It's a fantastic studio camera. It's a great camera for shooting video, and I don't see the point of going up to a D4S at the moment, just for the little bit of extra robustness that you do get from that. A lot of the video work that I'm doing these days, I'm not needing to have the camera quite as robust, and I'd still have my D3S for shooting stills in those conditions. So that'll probably be the next move for me, would be that. Who are these cameras for? Okay, basically the D810 has a great function that you don't see in the D800 and you don't see in the D750, which is S-RAW. This is something that small RAW, something that Canon have been doing for quite a while, and something I've always been quite envious as being a Nikon shooter, is the ability to shoot RAW, but in a much more compressed, smaller format. And the D810 now has that. So essentially, you don't have to worry about having a camera that just shoots in these massive file sizes anymore when you don't need it. You can drop that into S-RAW and save some space on both your media and on your computer. With that, it really closes the gap on making the D750, while necessary in some respects, not totally necessary. So who's it for? Let me try to think. If you're a pro shooter and you want to do a little bit more detailed work, you want to shoot some amazing like landscapes, you want to shoot portraits, and you really require that extreme detail in your shots, then go with the D810. If you don't quite need so much resolution, you're doing it more for fun, or you're shooting something, say like wedding photography or sports photography. Well, I wouldn't say sports because the shutter speeds, the frame rate's a bit slow, but if you're shooting, family portraits, etc., these things that you don't require the extreme detail that you get from the D810, and you want to save yourself, I think, nearly $1,000, then go with the D750. They're both fantastic cameras, and they'll both serve both an amateur and a pro alike really well. Of course, like with all pro bodies, you've got to know how to shoot with a camera before you get them. So I wouldn't recommend it to a complete novice, but hey, why not? If you want to give it a go, get into photography, then start off with a real camera and learn how to use all the functions. It's not a bad thing either. So for me, I'm going to go with the D810. I just like the fact that it's got a few extra functions. It's got a higher resolution. I'm already familiar with the D800. I love the images I'm getting out of that. Video-wise, they're both comparable to each other, so there's no real advantage or disadvantage there. And the other option, of course, the other thing as well is I have the battery grip for the D810. That'll fit for just fine, so I'm going to go with that on that part alone. But yeah, fantastic cameras from Nikon, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Remember, hit subscribe, and feel free to like and share this video. Happy shooting.